Hello and welcome back to SGGT. Today, myself, James and Aaron are going to talk about driver shafts, common misconceptions and who they may suit. James, talk to me. Driver shafts, what's the difference with them all?
There's different weights, there's different bend profiles, there's different flexes. They do weird and wonderful things.
Okay.
Depending on a golfer's path, attack angle, you could have two guys who have got the same club head speed, maybe play off the same handicap. If one swings left and one swings right, they can't use the same thing. If one hits up on it, one sort of squeezes down a little bit more, same sort of thing. We need the shaft to do a slightly different job. So having so many different profiles in the studio, it's really freeing as a fitter because you can go and do whatever you want. It's so easy. It's great fun.
So here in the Lyle studio, you can see in the background, guys, all the options. So loads of bits in there, loads of different options ultimately. We'll start by talking through some brands. You were off the other week, Aaron and I done iron shafts. So we'll do something similar. We'll have a run through, we'll talk about who they might suit, what different brands have on offer, and we can go from there. All right with that?
Perfect.
Right, where do we begin? We'll start with Oban. Start with the bright ones.
Yeah, I'll take Oban.
So what's the range? Talk to me about it.
So you've got Isawa.
Okay.
Two models in Isawa. You've got red and gold.
Okay.
Red one, so the way Oban word it is they've got kind of active tip section shafts. Oban red, Isawa red is one of those. So if someone's wanting to get the ball up in the air a little bit more, Isawa red's a really good option. It's been around forever.
Good.
Gold, a little bit firmer, but loads of different weight profiles.
Okay.
So if you've got someone with a bit of speed, but kind of not all that strong, it's really quite a good option to put in there. Going from that, you've got Revenge.
Okay.
Again, and still an active tip shaft. Still going to try and encourage the ball up, but slightly firmer where it needs to be.
Who would that benefit?
Someone who's a bit more aggressive than an Isawa red.
Okay.
But still wants to get the ball up and going a bit more.
And then Devotion, next one
Devotion,
in the line?
you can split that up into two. You've got the counterbalance one, but the lighter Devotions, really quite different. They're quite soft.
Okay.
But as you get into the Oban, the Devotion 6 and Devotion 7, they're for your really quite aggressive hitters.
Okay.
If someone struggles with a bit of a left miss, that Devotion's a great option just to put in and just try and stabilise that.
Okay.
Different weight classifications as well. You've got 55, 65,
75 as well for the Bombers.
75 is a
There's
an
an 85 as well.
There is an 85, yeah.
Up into 6 flex as well. I get
6 flex. So they don't
stiff in, there's stiff again, stiff again.
I think you could build my house with something weaker than that.
Aye.
Yeah, and then you've got
Kiyoshi range.
Kiyoshi. You've got your different colours. Yeah,
So we do a little bit. We do white and purple.
yeah. Used to do gold, but
there comes a point we have to draw the line somewhere. Kiyoshi purple is really interesting. Almost like for the guys that know shafts from years ago. It's very Fujikura speeder. That kind of profile.
looks cool as well.
And what's this one on the left? What's the Airburst, James?
So we've got Airburst. There's three of them. So there's an Airburst Cobalt, an Airburst Burgundy, and an Airburst Carbon.
Okay.
Sorry, Airburst AK even. That's Oban's kind of premium shaft line.
Okay.
The big difference between
Super premium.
Super premium, aye. The big difference with these guys is the amount of good material that's then used, or the amount of premium material, I should say.
Okay.
So one of the things that Oban are really passionate about is, like us as fitters that are kind of using these things every day. Ralph, who's Oban's president, wants everyone to have a kind of fair chance of trying all these different ranges. It's maybe not going to be one that is going to be used all the time, but when we have them in their sort of entirety in the studio, you can just go and test stuff like that. You can see how they feel.
Certainly not for everyone, is it?
No, not for everyone.
It's one of those, like you say, if you don't hit it, you don't know.
Yeah. When we're on premium, we might as well go to Autoflex. Talk to me.
Autoflex is pretty interesting. It's
a good bit of fun.
It's one we've done really quite a lot of. So we do Autoflex in driver, in fairway, in utility. We've got that in like an iron as well. We've got sort of two lines from Autoflex, the original SF, and we also do Dream 7 as well.
Okay.
Really lightweight, feel really soft to give it the universal waggle test.
Yep.
They certainly don't play like that. They're really suited to like a golfer who's got a very smooth transition.
Yeah.
So kind of regardless of kind of club head speed, if you've got that smoother golfer, Autoflex loads really effectively.
You almost need to go into the shaft that feels too flex is too soft for you to make it kind of come into its own.
Yeah,
you've got guys like Adam Scott and Louis Oosthuizen testing it.
Both flushers, both really smooth guys.
So it's that kind of player that really benefits.
Okay, I might as well work along this wall. Graphite Design, plenty of options.
Yeah, Graphite Design, they've been around forever as well. DI is what Tiger made famous.
Yeah.
Spieth then took that mantle. Tiger still uses a VF.
Okay, what's the story with that?
Really firm.
Yeah,
really
stable.
firm. So really stable, stiff handle, stiff mid, stiff tip. It's for an aggressive hitter. Again, it's kind of if you wanted to miss that left-hand side. Tiger is trying to always play that left to right with his driver. That's his goal there.
Okay, XC?
Xtra carry, I think is their moniker for that.
Yep.
Okay.
A little bit softer on the handle.
Okay.
And then stiff in the mid, stiff in the tip. And it's good if someone wants to feel something in the handle but really wants that ball flight to come out
Good.
a little bit lower.
CQ?
That's your higher spinning option.
Kind of goes the other way. So CQ's like stronger up in the handle, then a little bit more active down the tip section.
Okay. Right, next brand. TPT. James, interesting one. You seem to like it.
TPT's good. TPT's
Talk me
fun.
through it. What's good about TPT? What's the technology? How does it work?
So TPT, the chat is they're made from like one continuous strand of fibre.
Okay.
So it's a different manufacturing process.
What would typically happen? Sorry, if they're one continuous strand, what would other brands be?
So what other brands would do? You'd have all your material, we'll call it, just laid out on the table. They're put on in different directions, so you can chop and change. You can chop and change where you want to make a shaft, stiffer and softer and things like that.
Okay.
And it's then wrapped around a thing called a mandrel. So effectively a sort of thin metal tube.
Okay.
You then put your shaft effectively in the oven. You bake your shaft, then you've got a golf shaft.
Okay.
So it's all then cured. But in putting those different layers on in different angles, that's going to create a hard edge. You could call it the spine of the shaft.
Yeah.
TPT don't have that. So TPT is made from like one continuous strand of fibre, so there isn't a hard edge. Now, like we're really quite lucky here that we do all the building, and we've got an SST pure machine. We do an awful lot of puring.
Yep.
And when TPT kind of first came out with that really bold claim that like we don't have a hard edge, obviously we have to test these things. So whatever way we put the shaft into SST, we then get it back out that same way, and we test it over multiple things, and just found that it didn't need to move. So TPT is one of the only ones that we don't need to pure.
Yeah.
Okay.
2 ranges in TPT as well, isn't it?
Yeah. So we have a power and we have a nitro.
Okay.
Nitro is a little bit lighter than power, and we go anywhere from one called 14 low all the way to 21 high.
Okay.
So the higher the number, the softer the shaft.
Okay. And the weight gets lighter as the numbers go up as well, is that right?
Yes.
Simple to fit as well. It's it does what it says on the tin.
Okay. Next one. Loads of tour presents. Ventus. Fujikura. Talk me through it. So we're on to Ventus Plus now.
Yep.
What does that mean, James?
So it's the new VeloCore Plus material.
Okay.
It's updated. So the original 3 profiles, the black, the blue, and the red, really popular and are still really popular on tour. And it was just time for a refresh.
Okay.
So Ventus was around 7 years old.
Yep.
And we've got some new material. It's been sort of updated, and we have a new black, blue, and red profile.
Okay.
And we have all of them.
White being added now as well.
White being added now as well, yeah.
We tried that yet?
The new one.
So we just went in and we had a go of it.
White's interesting. So like Ventus white, it's a little bit lighter.
Yep.
So you get them in a sort of 40-gram shaft.
Okay.
So if we've got that golfer that was maybe a wee bit away from getting into like a Ventus blue or kind of Ventus red, now we've got that kind of gateway in.
Okay.
Really quite interesting. Very stable.
It is actually, yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Right, Mitsubishi, when we're up there. Oh, sorry, I'm going to stay with Fujikura. There's a new speeder line as well that we've added.
NX Violet.
NX Violet.
Yeah.
It looks the part.
Looks cool.
Who's playing that, Aaron?
So the design with this one is they've kind of built it as your kind of higher MOI driver head.
Okay.
From a torque profile standpoint, loads of different weights. It goes 40 through 70
Okay.
in 10-gram increments, and you've got a regular, a stiff regular, a stiff, an X, Is there TX in that?
There's loads of things to cover. There's not
Not a TX in that, but yeah, there's loads of stuff in there, and it takes up quite a big part of the wall, but it's really quite a nice feeling shaft.
Looks amazing as well on
And
that wall, doesn't
it
it?
looks sick.
Right, Mitsubishi, loads of stuff on tour here. So we've got Tensai, and we've got Diamana. Who wants what?
I'll go Diamana.
Come on in, hit me with it.
So Diamana has been around for 20 plus years now. Really, really popular.
Back with a vengeance.
Yeah, exactly. There's three profiles. So we've got a white, a blue, and a red. The white is a wee bit beefier, so it's a kind of stronger shaft overall, a little bit stronger in the butt, the mid, and the tip section. The blue is a wee bit smoother. Generally, if you want to get the ball up in the air a little bit more than a white, that's what blue's going to do.
Softer in the middle, isn't it?
And then Diamana red board. This is the latest one. It's been a kind of phased launch with all this. So red board, it's a little bit more active in the tip section. That's one that's definitely going to get the ball up in the air a little bit more, and really interesting to play with.
Loads of flexes as well. We have, again, that takes up an even bigger wall space, but you've got regular, you've got
43 to 83,
Yeah.
43R to 83 TX.
there is a TX in that, and that's, again, not a lot of golfers require that, but being able to test it and being able to see what that golf ball does on the back of that is really quite interesting.
If you're that golfer who needs something a whole lot stronger, we have everything covered, haven't we? We've got loads.
Tensai.
Tensai, interesting range here. You've got Tensai white, which is really, again, for your quite aggressive hitters. Feels a bit firmer than the whiteboard.
Okay.
Whiteboard feels a bit smoother, but still that low launching shaft.
Okay.
Blue, more of your active tip again. It's kind of a bit more of your mid to higher launching.
Okay.
And then you have orange, which is really interesting. It's a counterbalanced option. So a bit heavier in the handle. And then you can play a head that's maybe a touch heavier, or you can play the shaft a little bit longer without affecting swing weight all that much.
Interesting.
They've been interesting, yeah.
Vanquish?
Done really pretty well, Vanquish.
You like a Vanquish?
Yeah, Vanquish is good. So it's a kind of softer profile shaft overall. Again, we go into like lighter weights with these guys. So same sort of thing. If a golfer's maybe has like a little bit less club head speed, or maybe just needing something a little bit lighter, that's when Vanquish really starts to come good.
Right, okay.
So again, for that like smoother profile of golfer, it can just give that golfer
Just
a bit more.
Kind of similar to the conversation we had about Autoflex, is it's just going to help a little bit more at that.
Just encourage things
stage?
a bit more. Yeah. Aye.
Right, the last one we're going to talk about, Accra. So Accra, we do quite well with.
Really well.
And I think from a club fitting standpoint, I think all club fitters do well with Accra, and it's purely because it is just designed for club fitters. You're never going to see it in a retail environment. The options are endless, and there's something you could fit with Accra shafts alone, and there would be something for everyone.
Yeah.
And it's the range starts at I Series. Who's playing that, James?
So I Series again definitely gets that ball up in the air. If we've got a golfer who's maybe a little bit of a slicer, struggle with that right hand side of the golf course, I Series is actually really stiff in the handle, but really active in the tip section. And it doesn't feel like it's a soft shaft.
Yeah.
So if we need to get a shaft that's going to have more left in it, that's then when Accra I Series really comes
square it
good.
up.
Yeah, definitely.
And then you'd move into GX, so 3 different colours.
Yeah. You've got 100, 200, 300, or what's easier is just blue, green, red.
Yeah. They've actually changed. They never used to be blue, green and red.
Was it?
Now, I think blue was blue to start with. The low launching one was yellow and the middle one was red.
All right, okay.
So they've moved about over the years, but as they've progressed through. Really good in terms of weight though.
And then flex through the weights.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter if you're playing a 40, a 50 or a 60 gram shaft, they're all the same flex as long as you play an M2 or M3 or M4.
Yep.
Whereas typically with other brands, as the weight goes up, the flex would change. So if Accra, you need a shaft to be a certain flex, you're able to play the shaft in that flex at a desired weight, rather than having to, like a TPT, the weight and the flex change, whereas with Accra doesn't. You pick where you need to be. And then we've got TZ. How does that work, James?
TZ is really interesting. So there are 2, but sort of like one with a subsection. So we get TZ5, TZ6, and there's a TZ6 ST. So 5 is your sort of lower launching shaft, or lower launching on paper certainly. It's a little bit stronger profile overall. TZ6, again, designed to get that ball up in the air a little bit faster.
Yep.
But then TZ6 ST, I really enjoy fitting this guy. ST, it's stable tip. So it's an up in the air type shaft, but it's really quite strong and stable in the tip section, so it doesn't feel wobbly, but it definitely has that help in getting that ball up in the air.
Okay, that's interesting. Shogun, Aaron.
Shogun.
New one, new to the line. How does it work?
Same story in terms of the colorway as GX. You've got a blue, you've got a green, you've got a red.
Okay.
Blue, higher launching one that comes in a kind of 42 M0, 42 M2.
Mm-hmm.
And they're really quite good if someone still wants that stability, but just needs something that's going to get it up.
Yeah.
I did one in a TaylorMade a couple of weeks ago, and it was unreal.
Right, okay.
Really good. Kind of miss was a little bit heely, still wanted the kick, but when that stables up again, when that straightens up again, it's really quite stable.
Ah, brilliant.
Green, kind of mid-launching, low to mid I'd call Shogun green. It's not something that's going to give you a bit of extra spin. And then red again is your more aggressive one.
So last one, guys. LA Golf. Bryson. How do the driver shafts work?
There's a couple of different lines. So A series is the kind of bread and butter.
Really quite straightforward as well, isn't it?
Really simple. So they do a high, a mid, and a low.
Okay.
And they can do what they say in the tin.
Yeah.
So weights covered from sort of 40 grams. We go up to like 60 grams in that one. Really interesting shafts. We also then have the new Gold series shafts as well.
Okay.
So they come in kind of 55 grams and 65 grams. So it's like a 65 mid, 3's a regular, 4's a stiff,
Yeah.
5 is an X. They're just new in, so they've been in for maybe like a week or so.
Not a huge amount of testing done on those so far, but
more testing required. Like they feel very, very good.
Okay.
And really pretty interesting.
Okay. What's the pink one?
The pink one, the Page Spiranak version.
Who's she, James?
a golf influencer.
very good golfer as well.
very good golfer, yeah.
So I think that covers a lot of the range that we have. There's certainly plenty of other things. I think that runs you through the majority. And we do driver fitting. There's also guys or girls that come in that have a driver that they've already got that we can look to reshaft as well and try to enhance performance. And I think when you talk about driver shaft, if the head's wrong, you can put whatever shaft you want, it's still going to be wrong. You're just making a bit. So I think a lot of time when we do shaft only fitting, you need to address is the head right as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Because there's quite a lot of golfers came in the last year that they look to get a driver reshafted because they're struggling with it.
Yeah.
And it's maybe not necessarily the shaft that's the issue.
If someone kind of on that point, if you've got a head that's launching it too high or launching it too low, a shaft's only going to do so much. The easiest way to influence that is just loft.
Shaft is going to do way more left and right certainly than it ever will up and down. But loft, if we need to get that ball up in the air a whole lot more, while shaft is still helping, it's going to have more of that lateral shift than it ever will vertical.
Yeah.
So who benefits for coming in for a driver fitting?
Everybody.
Everyone.
Absolutely everybody.
Yeah. I think there's a gain for everybody to be had.
Yeah.
And you know what? See, when you come in for a fitting, if there isn't a gain to be had, I think we're the first ones to hold our hands up and say, don't waste your money.
Yeah.
There's no point in buying something for the sake of buying something, but at least having all the options, you're able to leave no stone unturned.
And then you go away with the driver you came in with, you know it is.
Aye, there's a peace of mind factor to that, and it's have a go at it. So I think that's a good overview of driver shafts and what we have and who they might suit. You could talk for hours about it, but without trying them, I think with driver shafts, there's a lot of guys send emails in asking about trying a certain shaft, and a lot of the time when that guy comes in to try the certain shaft, he ends up with something different.
Yeah.
And I think the internet may tell you that this shaft or that shaft's going to work best for you, but without actually trying it, I don't think you're ever going to know.
Yeah.
You just have to hit balls, don't you?
We
have to hit balls.
We had a long conversation about iron shafts, and obviously there's a video on that. With driver shafts, there's a little bit more nuance. They're a little bit longer. There's more you're looking at in terms of kind of butt, mid, tip, and what they're going to do. So there's just more nuance to go through.
But I would say that's it. And as I kind of wrap this video up here, for anybody looking to come in for a driver fitting or a shaft fitting, it's head over to the website at sggt.co.uk and come in and try them all for yourself. And the guys will quickly narrow it down. You'll not have to hit every shaft, but we can point you in the right direction and make sure you're trying what's right for you to try and optimize your driving. For more content, please like and subscribe our YouTube channel. There's videos coming out weekly just now, and it'd be great to see you again in the future. Thanks.